Over the past year, I've been going through a lot of changes internally. My belief systems have been completely stripped away, and I've gone down a bit of a rabbit hole of discovery, of spiritual discovery. And one of those things that's come up for me has been this idea of ascension. The word ascend means to go beyond, to raise up, to lift higher. And if you look closely at any spiritual tradition, you're going to see this same idea of ascension repeated again and again and again. Within Christianity, you've got the idea that the believer is awakened to the truth, which is that Jesus is God. Jesus paid the ultimate price, made the sacrifice for us to be connected with God. And then the believer will go through a process of ascension where they rid themselves of their flesh, which is very similar to the idea of the ego, and become one with the Father. That's the idea in the Christian tradition. Then you've got the idea in Hinduism, same kind of thing, that we all come from Brahman, that Brahman is the one spirit that connects all things throughout the entire universe, and to escape the cycle of births, deaths, and rebirths, which is essentially reincarnation, just going over and over and over again, you have to reach Satori, which is like an enlightenment, where you, as an ego, dissolve into the Brahman again. You become one with the principle that created you, and you escape that whole cycle of pain and suffering. Within Buddhism, the same kind of thing. You reach a point of spiritual enlightenment where you become a Buddha, and you no longer exist in this world as an ego. This idea is everywhere. Within New Age, it's essentially the same thing, just in different language. The New Age tradition sees ascension as a process of ridding oneself of the lower vibrational frequencies and moving up into a higher range of frequencies so that we become spirit. And in many cases, we can leave the material plane and exist in a plane of existence, a plane of reality that's higher than the material plane. So for me, from what I've come to understand of this process of ascension, I like to look at the universe as a huge composite of energy. The universe is a huge range of energies, all stacked upon each other. And you can think of it like there being a lowest base frequency of energy. And on this base frequency, on this very slow frequency where energy moves very slowly, we can see, feel, hear, taste, smell reality. Physical matter around us. It's moving very slowly and it's condensed into a solid. That's why we can experience it with our physical senses. But as you go higher and higher up this range of frequencies, you start to get into higher realms of existence. And this gives you abilities to see beyond the physical realm. That's why a lot of New Age people believe that when you open your third eye, you're able to see beyond the everyday. You're able to get in touch and you're able to connect with other people without being physically close to them. You're able to read people's thoughts. You're able to understand deep truths about the nature of the universe. You're able to communicate with other beings. That's been claimed by a lot of people who believe this stuff. So eventually, as you ascend and as you go higher, as all these traditions show, you become less associated with the physical world, and you move up this frequency into a place where love becomes your motivating force. Fear begins to fall away, and you begin to exist in a state of love. And it's even possible to completely let go of the fear and live just in a pure state of love, bliss, and peace. Again, going back to the similarities of ascension and enlightenment. So I truly believe this is possible, and this is something that I'm aiming for myself. This is something I want to develop more in myself. I want to raise my vibration, raise my frequency, so I get to a point where I experience the world in a state of love, peace, and bliss. And it's believed that the human race is evolving towards this point more and more. If you look at where we were 10,000 years ago compared to where we are today, there is this process of increasing connection happening over time. So if that's where humanity is going, if humanity is evolving like this, to this higher state of existence, to this state of ascension, then how can we increase it? How can we improve that? How can we speed that up? Well, it all starts with us. My understanding is that this process all starts with us, all starts with raising our own personal vibration, focusing yourself on positivity, eating healthier food, being with more positive people, changing the way you think, learning to meditate and stop associating with your racing mind all the time. These are all activities that would boost that ascension process. So that's just a bit of an overview of my understanding of the process of ascension. I'm going to be exploring this topic in much greater detail in future videos. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you very soon on a future video.